Ms. Sass, this is Judge Graham. Thank you for interpreting for us today. I think this is the first time we've had you in my court, but Judge Baker's my wife, and she told me to tell you hello, and she has nothing but good things to say about you. Ms. Naranjo, I have, of course, you're in, and I also have Wittenberg Law Firm.
Yes, Judge. So since for the translator, we'll have to be separate in order for me to hear the English and not just catchy.
Okay, so I'll let, is that your clients?
Yes, Your Honor.
And let me be sure I understand. You've been retained now by both Miss, I can't pronounce her last name.
Chahil, I think.
And you've been retained by her and Mr. Hernandez?
Yes, Your Honor. They're married and they are not don't have opposing conflicts.
Okay, and
are you conflict waivers as well?
So are you representing? Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's a different mother. Okay, so you're just on the case involving all of the children, not Isaac.
That is correct, Judge. That's
okay.
Their daughter, Micaela's.
Right. Okay.
And also, Judge, so the court is aware, Mr. and Mrs. Perez, they're from Guatemala. They've been in the U.S. a couple of years, but from Guatemala, they don't have a very good education over there, so they don't know how to read or write. So they'll require a lot of patience, a lot of time and questions to try not to be too complicated so that they're able to understand. Okay,
I hope everyone heard that. So, all right, Ms. Grant's in the waiting room. I'll get her in again. She's covering for Mr. Barfield.
And I also have a clarification on paternity and
I'm sorry. Start again. Someone else was talking, Mr. Naranjo.
Sorry. I also have a clarification on the paternity and also the mother of one of the children, because I think the pleadings have it incorrect, but I can explain that once all parties are present.
Okay. Tell us.
So from what I understand from speaking to our clients, the child, Angel Lopez Perez, Ms. Perez is only the mother of the child. Mr. Perez is not the father of that child. The father of the child is Martin Lopez Gutierrez, and he is deceased.
Okay.
And then for the child, Micaela Perez Osorio, Ms. Perez is not the mother of the child. Mr. Perez is only the father of the child.
Okay.
The other children are both Mr. and Mrs. Perez's children.
Who's the mother to the one child?
That I do not know, Your Honor. Maybe we'd be able to get that with the Quechua translator, but I was not able to get that information based on their limited Spanish, and we weren't able to get a Quechua translator in time.
Okay.
This is the Quiche interpreter. I apologize for interrupting. Did you say Quechua or Quiche? Because they're two different languages.
That may be another thing we want to clarify, because my clients also did tell me that there's different dialects for the language, and we wanted to make sure that you spoke the correct dialect for them.
Well, let's go ahead, Ms. Sass. I'll go ahead. I need to start the interpretation feature. Is that correct?
Yes.
Mr. Alves with us for the department. Casa is with us. Ms. Lucero is covering for Ms. Christie. No, hang on. I'm getting these confused already. No, Ms. Naranjo is representing the parents, Ms. Maria Perez and I can't pronounce the last one, and also the father, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Pirtle is representing an unknown father in that case. I will also call cause number one. Mr. Alvey is with us for the department. And I'm sorry, in the other case, Casa is also with us. And in this case, Casa is also with us. In this case, Mr. Turner represents the children. Ms. Grant is covering for Mr. Barfield. He represents an unknown father. Ms. Kincaid is a guardian ad litem for the child. And Ms. Lucero is covering for Ms. Christie, representing the mother in that case, who's also a child in the other case, Micaela Perez-Osorio. All right.
Your Honor?
Yes.
Sorry to bother you again, but Micaela, maybe under Ashley Bacchus, if that's one in the waiting room?
I don't see anybody in the waiting room. Everybody I show is in the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
No, I got it. It's because you're not host anymore, Judge. I can help with that.
All right, then Haley, go down the list and let everyone know who's in the waiting room so we can figure out who we need in.
None of those are familiar to me, Your Honor.
Okay.
Judge, if Danielle Smith could be allowed in as my representative today.
Okay. Since that didn't work, making her the host, we can either change that. We'll go back and if we're going to have to do it question by question anyway. All right, we'll get started. Remember, short and sweet. And I don't know how you can be short and sweet and slow, but everyone understands what we need to do. The questions need to be asked slowly. So, Mr. Alvey, you can call your first witness.
Your Honor, my first witness would be Shelby Graham. Ms. Graham, you're an investigator working with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Yes.
Dan Graham, lahat ko investigadora la chukit con Departamento Registry Protección Registry Texas.
All right, now you answer, Ms. Graham.
Yes.
Sí.
And have you been involved in investigation concerning the Perez children in Dalhart?
Yes.
Sí.
What specifically were you investigating?
During the current investigation, there were concerns for medical neglect due to their child Angel, who had rotten teeth.
And how old is Angel?
11.
11.
And did you have conversations with Angel's parents about the teeth issue?
Yes, twice with Maria and once with Transito.
And did you use an interpreter or some kind of interpreting device?
Yes, I used an application provided by the department on our phones.
Yes is a good enough answer. We don't need to go into any more specifics than necessary.
And in doing that, did the parents acknowledge that they understood your conversations?
Yes.
Sí.
Were they able to alleviate the concerns you had concerning Angel's mouth?
Yes.
Sí.
Did you have to contact several different dentist offices?
Yes.
Sí.
Eventually, did you determine if Angel was taken to a dentist?
I did. He was not taken.
Sí, بشكي قمت بك.
Angel also made outcries of physical abuse.
Initially, he did, but he recanted.
Was his outcry to the school?
Yes.
Sí.
And was that outcry that he had been punched in the mouth?
Yes.
Sí.
And after your investigation began, he then recanted or said that he hadn't been punched in the mouth?
Yes.
Sí.
Did you find that the parents of these children were cooperative?
Maria seemed to be cooperative. Transito was difficult to get in contact with.
Did you complete your investigation before the baby was injured?
No.
No.
Do you have any concerns today, based upon your investigation, about the children in the home?
Yes.
Sí.
What are those concerns?
Haskamayu?
It seemed that they were not taking care of their medical needs and dental needs as they were telling me they were.
When the baby was taken to the hospital, have you been involved in the investigation since then?
Let's use names. Baby.
When Isaac was taken to the hospital, have you been involved in the investigation since then?
No.
I'll pass witness.
Miss Graham, what language did the phone use to translate?
Spanish.
Español.
Did you ask Mr. and Mrs. Bettis if they understand Spanish?
Yes.
Sí.
Did you ask them if Spanish was their main language?
No, because I was aware from a previous case we had worked together.
Did you at some point had to use their children to help translate?
During interactions, there were times when Michaela would voluntarily try to translate the English and Spanish to Quiche, but it was not asked of her.
Did Mr. and Mrs. Bettis seem to understand better when Michaela translated?
Mrs. Perez, yes. However, when I spoke to Mr. Perez, he appeared to understand Spanish and English.
But you still thought it was appropriate to continue with the Spanish translation?
With Mr. Perez, yes.
Ruta Pérez, sí.
During your communication with them, did things seem to get lost in translation?
Not that I was aware. They were able to answer questions, and the answers seemed to be appropriate.
Did you keep your questions pretty simple in language, or did they get a little complicated?
I tried to keep them simple to avoid confusion.
Did your phone offer the option to translate in Quechua instead of Spanish?
No.
No.
Do you also understand that Mr. Pettis works about 12-hour shifts?
I do.
With them.
Do you understand that may have made it hard to communicate and reach him?
I do. However, I asked him to contact me at his convenience.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, thank you. Mr. Pirtle?
Kat Horton?
I have no questions.
What
Mrs.
can I ask you?
Ms. Lucero?
Nan Lucero?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Graham, were you the investigator on both cases or just with the Bettis and Bettis Osorio children?
I have been the investigator for all the cases except for the most recent case where Michaela is the alleged perpetrator.
And as far as the concerns with Angel, was he ever, to your knowledge, taken to the dentist?
No.
No.
Did you ever provide to the parents names of dentists there in the Dalhart area?
Yes, and they stated they had already known about Casa Dental.
That's the witness.
What you can be.
All right, Ms. Grant?
Nan Grant?
Miss Graham, do you have any information to provide naming Isaac's father?
Initially, it was reported to me that his name was Marco out of California, and then he had moved back to Guatemala. But recently, it has been reported that it's an individual in Dalhart.
Were you provided any name of the person in Dalhart?
Niko na kubi siya chawe che rich muna siya go Dalhart.
No.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Graham, do you continue to have concerns that there was physical abuse in the home?
At this time, yes.
Siya nimli si.
No further questions.
What you can do.
All right, I think I got all the attorneys. Anyone else have further questions?
I do.
Okay.
Just a few.
As I do as well, Your Honor.
Mr. Albee?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Graham, you said that you previously had been involved in an investigation concerning this family.
Yes.
Si.
When was that?
Siya hala siya no.
I believe it was November of 2022.
What was that investigation for?
Mas ko tre.
There were concerns that Michaela was pregnant, as the information provided stated she was only 13 years old and she had not been attending school.
Obviously, she was pregnant.
Y obviamente shuban ya siya.
At the time the investigation was initiated, she had already had the baby.
And had she missed a large amount of school?
Yes, almost a whole year.
Si kasi hunter na.
And how old is she?
Niko ok na ba alih na.
It is unclear because we have two different birth certificates for Michaela, one stating that she is 14 and one stating that she is 17.
What grade was she supposed to be in?
Each ke grado rob siya na sketch man.
I believe at the time she was supposed to still be in 6th grade.
Did you have other concerns at that time?
Yes, however, the children made no outcries.
What were those concerns?
Has ko chama yo had.
There were concerns that we were not sure who the father was and concerns that it could have been Transito.
And now you've been given two different names and two different stories about who the father to Isaac is.
Yes.
Si.
And we still don't have any person identified actually as the father.
Correct.
Ela.
I'll pass with.
What you can be. Yo siya was saying.
Ms. Graham, when you got the information regarding Isaac's father, did you get most of that information from Michaela?
Yes, however, the most recent information was reported to her placement, who then reported it to me.
What language did you use to speak to Michaela?
I spoke English with Michaela.
Siya awrok Michaela Pingles.
Do you know if Michaela's main language is also Quechua?
Yes, however, she stated she was comfortable speaking English with both myself and during her forensic interview.
Did she sound fluent in English?
Le at siya tao chil we supre chao chinter Pingles.
Yes.
Si.
Did she seem to understand everything that was said to her?
La
Yes.
si.
And did she answer questions with appropriate answers?
She did.
Should no.
You talked about that prior investigation in November of 2022. Was that closed?
Yes.
Si.
And why was it closed?
It has stretched.
She made no outcry of abuse or neglect, and Angel also made no outcry of abuse or neglect.
And what about the other child, Selena?
My interactions with Selena, she does not speak with me. I understand that her primary language is Quiche, as that's what they speak at home. However, she has not wanted to attempt to speak with me.
Did she and the other children appear healthy?
Yes.
Si.
And Ms. Graham, you've been to the house on multiple occasions, correct?
Yes.
Si.
And did the house appear to be appropriate for children?
The home was appropriate, yes.
See,
And is it also, does CPS also provide paperwork to parents?
Yes.
see,
Did you all translate that paperwork for Mr. and Mrs. Bettis?
I attempted to explain it and use our translation service the best that I could. Ms. Perez stated that she is unable to read or write, and I provided the documentation that we normally would give to Mr. Perez as well.
And to be clear, when you attempted to translate it, it was in Spanish, correct?
Yes.
see,
Which Ms. Pettis made it clear to you she doesn't really understand.
She stated that she did understand Spanish, however, she prefers Quiche.
I'll pass the witness.
Miss Graham, you stated that Michaela had given a new name for allegedly Isaac's father.
She did not provide a new name, however, she stated that the individual was in Dalhart.
Okay, and why did the department have or still has concerns that Mr. Bettis could possibly be the father of Isaac?
Because Michaela had initially reported that she had gone to California for a time, and that's when she had gotten pregnant. However, it was found through an interview with her brother that she has never been to California, and the family has not lived there, and the family remains in their home.
As far as Michaela's age, have her parents stated how old she is?
Yes, her parents continue to state that she is 17.
And Ms. Graham, where are all the children placed at this time?
From my understanding, the two youngest children that belong to Mr. and Mrs. Perez are placed in Austin, Texas, and the remaining children are placed in Amarillo, Texas.
The children that are in Amarillo, Texas, are they placed together?
Michaela, Angel, and Selena are. Isaac is placed separately.
And the children in Austin, are they placed together?
Yes.
see.
And as far as you know, have Maria Perez and Transito Perez are they having visits with the children?
At this time, I'm unaware. I am not the individual who removed the children and has been continuing the investigation. That is Investigator Danielle Smith.
Thank you. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Graham, before Michaela got pregnant, was she attending school? Do you know?
She was.
Speak.
So she could have met the potential father at school as well, correct?
Yes.
See.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Alvey?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. I would call Ms. Danielle Smith.
Mr. Alvey?
Ms. Smith, you are an investigator working with the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services.
Yes.
See.
When did you become involved with this family?
I received a report on April 7th in regards to Isaac Perez.
And what did that report concern you? What was the allegations in that report?
Your Honor, I'm going to ask you to say.
Overruled. Well, let me ask you this. Ms. Smith, anything in the report, did you consider it to be possible abuse?
Yes.
All right, overruled.
The report stated that Isaac Perez had come to the hospital in Dalhart, Texas, and upon x-ray of the child, there were multiple broken bones and a subdural hematoma.
What did you do when you received your report?
At the time of our report, we contacted the hospital and were notified that the child had been transported to Lubbock, Texas. Once we determined that, we sent a worker to the hospital in Lubbock.
Have you discussed the concerns that were reported to you with the father, Transito Perez?
I did not have the conversation with Mr. Perez. Those conversations were held by the workers that visited the hospital while in Lubbock.
Mr. Perez went to Lubbock with Isaac.
Yes.
See.
Did you have a conversation with Maria Perez concerning those injuries?
Yes, I did.
And what did Maria Perez advise you about those injuries?
During my interview, she repeatedly told me that she didn't know how this could have happened and that the only people that ever watched Isaac were herself, Michaela, or her husband, Transito.
How old is Isaac?
Hindi ko anak isa.
7 months old.
7 meses.
In your investigation, has there been anything that alleviates those injuries or wipes away those injuries that they didn't occur?
No.
No.
Did you talk with Michaela, the mother to Isaac?
Yes, I did.
Since over.
And did you discuss these injuries with her?
I did on multiple occasions.
Since over sila kwenta.
And what has she told you about these injuries?
She stated she didn't know how this could have happened, and she reported that the only people to watch Isaac were herself, Maria, or Transito.
At 7 months old, is Isaac crawling or walking?
No, he is not.
Is Isaac able to stand on his own?
No, he cannot.
No kwenta.
The injuries reported to you in your original report concerned broken bones where?
The original report stated that both of Isaac's femurs were broken, 4 of his ribs, and he had the subdural hematoma.
Femur is what bone?
Mo femur hasgot ng bakla.
The femur is the bone in your thigh.
When you talked with Maria, was she able to communicate with you?
Yes, she was.
Are sishkon.
Did you use a translation app?
Lahat siya ko kung aplikasyon chuchu ashatsi.
Yes, I did.
What language did you use?
I used Kiche both times I spoke with her.
Did she answer your questions and communicate with you or converse with you in a normal manner?
Yes, she did.
Sishkonik.
Did you ask her if she was the mother to Michaela?
Yes, I did.
Sishon tacha.
What was her response to you?
Hasgot chu ihlak chawi.
She stated that she is not Michaela's mother.
Was she able to tell you who Michaela's mother is?
All that was reported to the department is that Michaela's mother is in Guatemala.
Did she report that she was the mother to Angel, Selena, Haley, and Atana?
Yes, she did.
Si halashui.
Did she tell you who the father to Michaela was?
Transito is reported to be Michaela's father.
Was she able to tell you who the father to Angel and Selena were?
Are
It was reported that Angel's father is in Guatemala, but I did not get his name. It was also reported that Selena's father is Transito.
Was Transito the father to Haley and Atana also?
Yes.
si.
And did Maria tell you who she believed the father to Isaac was?
Yes, she said his name is Marcus and he's in Guatemala.
Did you talk to Michaela about the issues that have arisen through this investigation?
Yes, I have.
And when you talked with her, did you use a language interpretation app?
My first interview with Michaela was done in Spanish and it was translated by Dalhart Law Enforcement. My second interview happened through the Kiche app. And the third time I spoke with her, she spoke English with me in the car.
Was she able to understand your questions and your conversation in all 3 languages?
Yes.
Si.
Did she tell you who Isaac's father is?
Our first conversation, she reported it was someone named Marcus that she had met in California. She repeated that again during the second interview. It was brought to my attention through the same email that investigator Graham got that she is now stating that the father lives in Dalhart, but we did not get a name.
Have you reviewed the background or the history with Child Protective Services of this family?
Yes, I have.
Si siya mo.
Do you have concerns for the safety of the children if they're left in that home?
Yes, I do.
Si kamayo.
What are those concerns?
Hasgot kamayo.
During our investigations with this family, they have continued to not meet the medical and dental needs of these children. And now that we have Isaac with multiple broken bones with no plausible reason for that to have happened, we have serious concerns about what's going on in this home.
Are you asking the court then to continue the department as temporary managing conservator of all the children in both cases?
Yes.
Sí.
I'll pass witness.
Show like convention.
All right, thank you. Ms. Smith, you probably answered this, but based on the concerns that you just listed about the medical and dental care of the children and Isaac's injuries, do you believe it would be a danger to return the children to the parents today?
Yes.
Sí.
Would it be contrary to the children's welfare to be returned to the parents today?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Naranjo.
Ms. Smith, what application did you use to talk to Ms. Bettis?
The department has multiple interpretation services. To get a keychain interpreter that spoke their dialect, I went through a company called Globo.
And is this option available to all workers with the department?
Moving forward, yes, we just recently got the contract with them.
So was it available back in when the investigations for February and March took place?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Now, is it fair to say that because Mr. and Mrs. Bettis are Indigenous people, that they may not understand what's going on with this case?
I don't want to make assumptions on their behalf.
When you were speaking with them, did they appear confused?
No.
No.
So Ms. Bettis seemed to completely understand what was going on.
She did after multiple conversations.
So when you had the first couple conversations with her, it was clear to you that she didn't understand.
I would not say she didn't understand, but I went over it multiple times to make sure that she did.
Did she seem to struggle understanding why the department was involved?
No.
No.
When you spoke with Ms. Bettis, was she a soft-spoken person?
She appeared to be, yes.
Sí.
Was she also very cooperative?
With my questions, yes.
Sí.
Was she also very compliant?
Yes. Sí.
Did you explain to her what the department is?
Yes, I did.
Sí, should be.
Did you also explain to her what the department does?
Yes, I did.
Sí, should be.
Did you also provide her paperwork from the department?
Yes, I did.
Sí, señor.
Was this paperwork translated to her?
Yes, it was with my keychain interpreter.
Sí.
Did she tell you that she understood the application?
Yes, she did.
Should be. Should be.
Did Ms. Pettis also inform you that she's the stay-at-home mom and takes care of all the other children?
Yes, she did.
Sí, should be.
Did she also inform you that she was pregnant?
Yes, she did.
Sí, should be.
Did she tell you how many months?
She provided me with a due date in June.
Have you been to the home?
Yes, I have.
Sí,
And did the house appear to be safe and appropriate for children?
For the most part, yes.
sí, هلا شو لن.
And in fact, the department included, well, you included nothing in your report stating any concerns about the house.
Correct.
هلا.
Was a wellness check also completed on the other children?
Yes.
Sí.
And no concerns came back about their health, correct?
Correct.
هلا.
Did Ms. Pettis explain to you that that Angel has no health insurance?
Yes.
Sí.
And did she explain that that is because he was born in Guatemala?
Yes.
Sí.
Did they also explain that that made them have to cover any medical expenses for him?
Yes.
Sí.
I'll pass the witness.
Yes. Ms. Smith, you stated that you spoke with Michaela on several occasions during your investigation?
Yes, I did.
هلا شو
Okay.
لن.
When you spoke with her, did you get an impression of whether or not she, just by talking with her, in your opinion, did you get an impression of whether or not she felt safe in that home?
I can't say I did get an impression about that. It was very back and forth with how she was talking to me.
And whenever you spoke with her on those times, was she cooperative with you? I mean, was she forthcoming with information?
On basic things, yes.
Did you ever talk with her about, I know she gave you names, a name for the father of the baby, but did she discuss her pregnancy or anything like that with you?
We didn't discuss her pregnancy directly, but we did discuss school and what happened when she got pregnant.
And do you know whether or not she's attending school at this time?
I spoke with her placement last week about school, and they informed me that they were having a hard time getting her placed in a grade because she was at least 2 grades behind now, and they weren't sure about her age.
So just to be clear, so prior to removal, Michaela was not going to school. Is that right? Miss Perez and well, are the parents, are they visiting with the children? Do they have visits?
At the time of the removal, all of their information was provided to St. Francis, and they were arranging the visits. I do not have an answer on when or if those have happened.
And as far as the department's concerns regarding medical and dental care for the children, were the concerns just about Angel?
The initial intakes were just about Angel, but upon further investigation, we have concerns about all of the children not being taken to the doctor or to dental appointments as needed for their age.
Now, after the kids were removed, you stated that they went to the doctor, had some exams. Is that correct?
The day before the removal, they did full skeletal exams on Selena, Haley, and Atiana. After the removal, placements have been arranging their 30-day checkups through through Texas Health Steps.
And were there any concerns for the exams of the three other children that were done?
The hospital reported no concerns.
Smith, do you have any personal knowledge as to whether or not there's an investigation regarding Isaac's injuries? Do you know?
To the best of my knowledge, I believe there is an open criminal investigation at this time.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Smith, what was the name of the interpretation service that you've now contracted with for Kichi?
Globo, Globo.
All right, then, Ms. Grant, questions?
Thank you, Jeff. Ms. Smith, in your education and employment as an investigator, are you trained to identify child abuse injuries?
We are trained to do preliminary assessments, and then we refer those assessments on to medical professionals.
Are you familiar with the injuries associated with children who have been shaken?
Yes, I am.
See with them.
In this case, the child has bilateral corner femur fractures, correct?
Yes, he does.
See, hello.
Has your experience in education taught you anything about that type of injury in relation to children who've been shaken?
That injury is associated with babies who have been shaken.
Your Honor, I'm going to object at this time. Ms. Grant needs to appropriately establish that Ms. Smith is qualified as an expert to testify on these medical things. And given that Ms. Smith is just a CPS investigator, I would object to her qualifications as an expert to give that testimony.
Sustained.
Ms. Smith, did you also receive information that doctors had identified old injuries through x-rays?
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Overrule.
Yes, I did.
See,
Did that include a previously broken humerus bone?
Yes, it did.
see,
Did that include older rib fractures?
The report that the department received stated that all of the rib fractures were older and in different stages of healing.
Did the report include any information about previous bruising to the brain?
The report stated that there were several older brain bleeds that were healing, as well as that the subdural hematoma that he had been x-rayed for was not new, that it was healing as well.
Let me interrupt briefly. Ms. Smith, a lot of these questions that you've been answering could have been answered yes or no, so let's keep it short and sweet.
I apologize.
Do the reports give you any concern that there is ongoing abuse at different times?
Yes.
Are the other children in the home big enough in size to pick up Isaac?
Other than Michaela, Isaac's mother, I would say only Angel and Selena can pick him up.
Can either of those two children reach over and into the crib, in your belief?
Only one.
And which child is that?
Angel.
Angel.
Okay. Pass the witness, Judge.
Ms. Smith, can you, have you received any birth certificates for Michaela?
No, I have not.
Okay. Are you, when she spoke with you, how old did she report she was?
17.
Okay.
All right, Ms. Kincaid, you're going to have to slow down and let her interpret before you ask your next question.
Sorry, Your Honor. Were you able to review the reports from the school?
A few of them, yes.
Siya ako hun
How, how old was she according to the school?
She would be 14 this year.
Okay. What grade did she last complete?
Que grado siya kiso?
She last completed the 5th grade.
Has she started her 6th grade year?
Iya siya chpambri hanap rin sexto?
No.
No.
Are you aware whether she received any prenatal care?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Without the respuesta en pregunta na.
Are you aware whether she received any postnatal care?
She did not receive any.
Are you
Otonim siya siya.
are you aware whether Isaac received or attended any doctor's appointments after his birth?
He did not.
Anak na.
Are you now can Michaela drive?
Micaela kung siya kung insachich?
I don't believe so.
So she would not be able to take herself to a doctor's appointment. Is that correct?
Correct.
Hela.
Would she be able to take Isaac to the doctor?
No.
No.
Would she, since she was not attending school, who else would she have been interacting with once she was dismissed from school?
Are you asking who she spoke with outside of school?
Who was she able to interact with outside of her family after she was taken out of school?
Your Honor, I would object to that line of questioning. Ms. Smith doesn't have the personal knowledge of what Michaela was doing before the investigation.
Sustained.
Tu señoría cuarta siya kita akong pregunta la porque Renan Smith rin amta hasyo an Micaela antes de que smart hikri investigasyon. Misla siya.
When was Michaela removed from the home?
April 19th.
El 19 de abril.
Since that time, has she received any medical
Placement
care?
has been arranging all appointments for the children. I don't know dates or times.
I'll pass witness.
Siya wala kang tao.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Smith, regarding the children other than Isaac, is the main concern the medical neglect of these children?
No.
No.
What would be the other concern?
That's what na-check mayo.
Due to the injuries of Isaac, we are concerned for all of the children in the family since we do not know who injured Isaac.
But previously, you testified that the department's concern regarding the other children was the medical neglect, correct?
I stated that as part of the concern, but I also stated the concern with the injuries in the home.
But all the other children's health reports came back that they were well and fine, correct?
There were no marks or bruising on the children at that time, no.
And the report indicated that they were well and fine, correct?
Yes.
Sí.
Did the report also indicate how far back Isaac's injuries were?
No.
No.
From your conversations with the family, did the family appear to be low income?
Yes.
Sí.
I'll pass the witness.
Siya wala kang touch me.
Ms. Smith, where was Isaac born there in Delhart?
No, he was born in Dumas.
No, siya arat at Dumas.
Was he born at the hospital there in Dumas, or do you know?
Out amat wa po hospital pa Dumas pa ko.
Yes, he was.
Si hala siya pa.
Now, the mother, Maria Perez, she's currently pregnant. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sí.
In your conversations with her, do you know whether or not she's receiving prenatal care?
I don't know.
Wait amta.
I'll pass the witness.
Siya wala kang touch.
Ms. Smith, is there any concern that Michaela is not attending school?
Yes.
Sí.
Is there any concern that there's a possible 14-year-old child in the home who was impregnated by an unknown father?
Yes.
Sí.
Is there a concern that the parents are not protective enough of the children in the home?
Yes.
Sí.
Pass the witness, Judge.
Keep in mind, we've got to let her interpret before you either ask or answer a question. So, okay, let's take a short break.
Allow everybody to question Miss Smith,
I thought we did.
then I'll rest. I've got other witnesses that I'll hold for the time being as possible rebuttal, but I'll rest.
Okay, let me be sure. Did anyone else have further questions for Ms. Smith that I overlooked?
Touch kang lang narang wa atis timus.
Yes, Your Honor, I would call Transito Perez Hernandez. And I'd like to further clarify for the court if everybody could keep their questions simple for Mr. and Mrs. Perez, as their vocabulary is not very extensive.
Yes, please, everyone, please.
Are you the father of Micaela, Selena, Haley, and Aitana Perez?
Yes.
Are you married to Maria Perez Cajed?
Sí.
Yes. Correct.
Are you asking the court to say that you're the father of Micaela, Selena, Haley, and Aitana?
Sí, real papá.
Yes, I'm their father.
Do you mainly speak Quechua?
لا هذا شو مراج أبلات في كيتشي.
De que che.
Yes, Kiche.
En conta.
I'm not able to.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being do not understand, 10 being that you understand perfectly, how well do you know Spanish?
Nomás el número 3.
Only number 3.
So just a little bit, would that be fair?
So شافوا بقى هلا.
Sí.
Yes.
How big is your home?
3 bedrooms.
And how long have you and your family lived in Dalhart?
Sí, para Dalhart 6 años.
Here in Dalhart, 6 years.
Do you work?
Kachukunik,
Quinchucanek.
I work.
Where do you work?
Shke lugar Kachukunik
Una lechería.
in a dairy.
And what days do you work?
Shke Kachukunik. I start Sundays until Friday. I have Saturdays off.
And what hours do you work?
Shke horas klokek, shke horas tala.
7 para las 7, 12 horas.
7 to 7, 12 hours.
So you're not home most of the time because of work.
Right. Yes, because of work, I'm not at home.
Does your wife stay home and take care of the children?
لأول قيل أراك هيك نحكي هاي كل شيء هم دير فلات.
Sí, el bicho que yo hago que checo para claro.
Yes, my wife stays home too and takes care of all the children.
Does she mainly take care of Haley, Aitana, and Selena?
Sí.
Yes.
Is she also pregnant?
أراك شق هيري يا بشق.
Sí, ya bishop.
Yes, she's pregnant.
And is she 8 months along?
Areri 8 January.
Sí, 8 y escucha.
Yes, she's 8 months along.
Does Micaela take care of Isaac all day?
Sí, escuché el sac.
Yes, she cares for Isaac.
And is it true that your wife can't always help her because of the other kids?
Gemelo.
Yes, sometimes she's unable to because she's always caring for the twins.
Did you and your wife meet with CPS in March about Angel's teeth?
Sí.
Yes.
Did CPS speak to you in Spanish?
Sí, chavo español, pero sentado más bien se subió.
Yes, they spoke with me in Spanish, but I didn't understand very well what they said.
What did you understand that they said to you?
Yeah.
Ya te entender más bien.
I only understood that there was something wrong with Angel's teeth, but I didn't understand anything else.
Did you and your wife meet with CPS about Isaac?
No, en tata la tiene la pregunta.
I'm not understanding the question.
Do you remember meeting with CPS at the hospital?
Shall we hospital?
Sí, yo creo que sí, chavo, pero ya antes entender más bien.
I think so, but I didn't understand it very well.
So when you spoke with CPS at the hospital, did you understand what they were saying to you?
Más bien.
No, I didn't.
Más español.
I didn't understand it very well. I don't understand Spanish very well.
And so they used Spanish to talk to you?
Entonces, español, chichawi abuk?
Sí, español, sí, chavo, en tata más bien.
Yes, they spoke to me in Spanish, which I don't understand very well.
Did CPS also speak to your wife?
Sí, chavo, yo.
They spoke with her at home.
And did they use a Quechua translator for your wife?
Yes, they did.
Do you think that you should have had a translator too?
Yes, it's necessary.
And is that because your primary language is Quechua?
Arela,
Arequiche.
it is kitchen.
Does Angel have problems with his teeth?
Sí, cashuare.
Yes, he has problems with his teeth.
And do you and your wife not have enough money to get Angel's teeth fixed?
That's correct. We don't have money to get his teeth fixed.
And would it cost about $8,000 to fix Angel's teeth?
Yes, and I haven't had money for a long time.
Once you and your wife have enough money, do you plan to take him to the dentist?
Pakarhil kami pa dentista.
Yes, we have thought about taking him in the future when we had enough money, take him to the dentist.
Does Micaela take care of Isaac?
Iri Micaela kuchiri Isaac.
Kuchiri sak.
She takes care of Isaac.
And when Isaac cries, what does Micaela do for him?
Malak ko alu krala ulit.
She'll pick him up, hold him, and he wants milk.
And what does she do when Isaac is sick?
She cares for him.
Since Micaela cares for him, would she likely know if Isaac was hurt?
Como Micaela kuchi retamlo are with ashkurak Isaac.
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Ano betar siya? Masustain siya.
If Isaac was hurt, is there a chance Micaela would not tell you?
Objection calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Is Micaela honest with you about everything?
Objection, speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Your Honor, if I may, it's not speculation if she has lied to him in the past. He's just testifying about whether she's lied to him.
That's not what you asked. You asked him to speculate.
I understand, Your Honor. Has Micaela ever lied to you in the past?
Objection, relevance.
Overruled.
No.
No.
Does Micaela hide things from you?
Ili Micaela kruwah cosas siya wen?
Kinta tang pregunta.
I didn't understand your question.
If she does something wrong, is there sometimes where she doesn't tell you?
No.
No.
Did it scare you that CPS took your children from you?
Si shinshir.
Yes, it scared me.
How did you feel when they took the children?
Sukat mo siya na ola kung shkimahbe ka wal siya wen.
Shimbason chikita kwel kwal porque reta kwel kwal ko tol dia.
I became very sad because these are my children.
Did you understand why they were taken from you?
Shimban entender.
I didn't understand.
Have you had any visits with your children since CPS took them?
No, I have not been allowed to go see them. We don't know where they're at. They have not given us any visitation.
Is it hard for you to do visits because you don't know how to do it?
Because I don't know where they're at. I don't know what to do.
Has anyone called you about visits?
Unak.
No.
No.
Kinta tang pregunta la.
I didn't understand the question.
Has anyone called you on the phone to have you have visits with your kids?
Oh no.
Nobody has informed me if I can go see my children or not.
Do you understand that your children are not living together right now?
Si kincha bota ka separado.
Yes, I understand that they're separated.
And how does that make you feel?
Kimpasan na kichika.
I feel sad for them.
Do you want your children back with you and your wife?
Si kwakit sa siya takang pamilya.
Yes, I would like to have my children back.
Do you believe it's best for your children that they come home?
The kachomas mas usne kelik with telish I wal George.
Kimpasan chikita kwel kwal.
I miss all my children.
Why do you think it's best for them to come home?
Porque kawahachel kita about George.
Kash kana kita kang pamilya kimpasan chika. Siya mabata kang pamilya siya mabalik.
I miss my children. They have always been with me.
I'll pass the witness.
So like and down.
All right, Mr. Audi.
Mr. Perez, did you hit Angel in the mouth?
No.
No.
Who is the father
I
to
don't have
Isaac?
information about that question.
Did you ever ask Michaela who the father to Isaac was?
They didn't provide a question. There's some questions that I cannot do.
Did you take Michaela to,
Mr. Perez, I'm going to instruct you to answer the question. Did Michaela tell you who the father to Isaac is?
Michaela شو بيحكي شوي شنو بابا إسحاق
If Michaela told me who Isaac's father is?
شو
Correct.
بيحكي ما
Sí.
شو بيحكي más una vez no les entenderse que había les شو بيحكي más una vez que se Marcos pero un chapter apellido.
Yes, that's how I understand the question. She told me once that it is Marcos, but I don't know the last name.
Okay. Thank you.
did you take Michaela to the doctor when she was pregnant?
Yes, I was responsible for her.
Are you taking Maria to the doctor while she's pregnant now?
Yes, I'm responsible for her. I will take her to the doctor.
And are you aware of the injuries that Isaac has?
No,
No.
Do you know that he has broken ribs, broken legs, and his brain is bleeding?
no with Anta.
No, I didn't know.
Nobody has told you that.
No, no one.
Did you talk to doctors in Lubbock at the hospital?
Yes, they did, but I didn't understand their questions or what they said.
Did you talk to investigators at the hospital, investigators for the Texas Department of Family and Protective Services at the hospital in Lubbock?
Yes, yes, they spoke with me and they asked a lot of questions. And some I understood and other things I didn't understand.
Have you been listening to the testimony today?
Sí, pero sin chat más bien.
Yes, but I didn't understand it very well.
Do you have any explanation as to why your grandson has broken legs, broken ribs, and his brain is bleeding?
In chapter.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
How old is Michaela?
Hindi po ako na, Michaela.
17.
17.
What grade in school is she in?
Que grado go with eskwela?
In chapter can contact man leer.
I don't know. I can't read.
I'll pass with Michelle.
Mr. Perez, you stated that you moved to Dalhart 6 years ago. Is that right? And how old was Michaela when y'all moved to Dalhart?
Quien contact que man leer robo. Más bien contact que leer el papel.
I'm not able to read the paper.
Okay, my question is, when you moved to Dalhart, how old was Michaela?
Bueno, rehing pregunta kan tapan siya we. Cuando ishish ash hala pa Dalhart, hani ko tuhna pri Michaela.
Ash hala Dalhart como no 8 años por.
Oh, when we moved to Dalhart, she was about 8 years old. Oh.
Okay. And then, okay, so y'all moved to Dalhart when she was about 8 years old. Is that correct?
Entonces, ang tiyo siya ash pa Dalhart cuando nakocho uhna, hila?
Decision ashar tikum shiwat anan chi 6 años coche Dalhart.
I think so. All I know is that we have lived in Dalhart for 6 years.
Okay, Mr. Perez, do you know what year she was born?
That's Perez. Automata chke hnap shwa we realihla.
Kumari koro papel mas papel quien contact que man leer.
Well, she has papers, but I'm not able to read it.
Now, while Michaela was pregnant, you stated that she did go see a doctor. Is that right?
Cuando unom yap ishak ni Micaela, shabi la children, shberuk doctor, hela.
علينا ميكائيلا شو يلو أنيو أنشين تشينكونتشا.
Teacher book na understand because to repetition. Ha shabi shantata.
علينا ميكائيلا شو خاتشو خناب هلا عليه أنشين كو تشينكونت شو خاتشو خناب ميكائيلا.
Micaela was the one that provided her date of birth. I was not able to provide her birth date.
Okay, but my question is, Mr. Perez, while Michaela was pregnant with Isaac, did she go see a doctor while she was pregnant?
Sí, pero regutan Enrique tapan chawe that Perez. Cuando Micaela yap ishak chekruk Isaac, aresh eruk naka kunanel sherla doctor.
Shinkambean.
I took her.
And could you give me the name of that doctor or where you took her?
Kaya la kubi hun doctor chwe o bir lugar chashakan webek
هلا دالها.
in Dalahart.
Do you recall the name of the doctor or the clinic?
Knata chawe riubiri doctor o clinica.
أو ني كلينيكا نشاف تبع كلينيكا كان كنت على ني دكتور نكخة تبع شوي.
I don't know the name of the clinic because I can't read and I can't remember the name of the doctor.
Now that your wife is pregnant, does she go to the same clinic?
Chanimri children yab ishak chakri aushpil are etpam misma clinic la.
دي لا misma كلينيكا كنكمل بس.
Yes, I take her to the same clinic.
Whenever Isaac was transferred to the Lubbock Hospital, did you travel with him?
Cuando reshkan bekri Isaac pam hun sheikh hun hospital per Lubbock na achadaruk. I went with him.
Okay. Did Michaela go also?
Did Micaela shway wuk shokol ha?
شكنا كنا porque no se puede porque un pabellón chiñao ve que shirisa aquí en shia permiso shway.
No, she stayed because we had to go on a plane and I was given permission to go.
Did you think it was important, since she was the mother, that she should travel with Isaac?
La ata shacho mahta como arre uma mari Isaac and raushikna resh erug Isaac.
Sí, sin choma hla que sí pues tomar cuatro right nomás bicho shi nomás en kia permiso shway que era Isaac pabellón.
Yes, but she didn't have a ride and they told me that I was the only one that had permission to go via plane.
I'll pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Grant, questions?
Sir, are you aware that your children need to attend school?
Sí, with Angela she kept school.
Yes, I'm aware that they need to attend school.
How come Michaela doesn't attend school?
I tell her to attend school, but she doesn't want to go to school. She doesn't listen to me. I tell her it's very important to attend school, but she doesn't want to.
I'll pass the witness.
When Isaac was home, did you and your wife help take care of Isaac?
Yes, we helped care for him.
Is your wife at home full time with the children?
Yes, she stays at home the entire time with the children. She doesn't work.
Okay. Concerning Marcos, did you ever have a telephone call with him?
No.
No.
Did you ever interact with him?
No.
No.
Do you know how Michaela met Marcos?
Micaela, Marcos. I don't know. She was at school when that happened.
I'll pass witness.
Who took Isaac to the hospital?
I didn't understand.
Who took Isaac to the hospital the first time?
I did.
Why did you take him to the hospital?
Because he was ill.
Can you be more specific? What in particular caused you to think he was ill?
Luego te como que como chata sa kanjo enfermedad yo anto caro ano shin kami ang hospital.
Because I noticed that he was having difficulty breathing, and it was early in the morning. And then because he doesn't talk, he couldn't tell me what was wrong with him, so I took him to the hospital.
Did anyone else go to the hospital with you?
Hospital.
Sheila Mihal Michaela.
Only my daughter, Michaela.
I'll pass the witness.
Yes, Your Honor, just briefly. Mr. Perez, how far did you get in school in Guatemala?
I never went to grades.
So you do not know how to read? Is that
I'm
correct?
sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't catch the end of that. I never went.
Sorry.
I never went to any grades.
So to clarify, you do not know how to read? Is that correct?
No, I'm not able to.
Do you know how to write?
No, I cannot write.
Do you know how to do math?
Mathematica?
No sé sa kailan chata.
I have no idea what that is because I cannot read. I cannot write.
Do you know how to add or put numbers together?
Números?
Nomás tak números uno.
Yeah, just some numbers.
No.
I have one question.
No.
I have one question for Mr. Perez, and it's kind of a complicated question.
Make it very
I'd like
simple.
to take slowly. I'd like to take slowly. Mr. Perez, you understand that you've testified that you lived in Dalhart with Michaela for 8 years.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to interrupt Mr. Pirtle. I think he said he's lived in Dalhart for 6 years.
6 years?
6 years. So let's not confuse him. He said he's lived in Dalhart.
Okay, I think you're right.
Excuse me. He said excuse me, Mr. Pirtle. He said he is sure that he has lived in Dalhart for 6 years. Let's get it straight.
Okay. And so you said you've lived in Dalhart for 6 years, correct, Mr. Perez?
La.
Correct.
And you said at the time you moved to Dalhart, Michaela was 8.
When I went to Dalhart.
Do I need to repeat that last question?
Si halaro hnap si ash dala har ko chime sa gonta ken le kin konta ken ale mahnar pa hnap yari hnap la chindom che si ash dala har she would an the says ein ko sa dala har.
I really don't know how old she was when I went to Dalhart because I mentioned I cannot read. I just know that I have been in Dalhart for 6 years.
But if it's true that she was 8 years old and you lived there for 6, wouldn't it be true that she became pregnant at the age of 14?
I cannot answer your question because I cannot read. If I could read, then I could see the paper and know how old she was.
I passed the witness.
But you can touch it.
Mr. Perez, how old are you?
Perez, hani pa na ba?
Kinchapta si ane año del 1989.
I don't know. I just know the year, 1989.
So do you know how old you were when Michaela was born?
How old I was when Michaela was born?
Yes, that's the question.
Sí, relation ta chawe.
Let's move on. I'm not sure where we're at.
Okay, I'm sorry, Your Honor. I didn't get an answer to the question. I had just said that was the question I had. How old he was. I was asking him how old he was whenever Michaela was born.
I can't tell you how old I was when Michaela was born. I just know the year 89 in October, but I cannot tell you how old I was when Michaela was born.
I'll pass the witness.
So I can touch it.
Ms. Grant, follow-up questions?
And Grant, ¿cuál preguntas cada?
No, Kota.
Sir, have you ever been asked if you are the father of Isaac?
Letat konak shuta chawe chulwe atu papar Isaac.
No, Kota. Kinchapsta, porque kotsta James.
No, nobody has asked me. I don't know.
Has Michaela ever been to California to your knowledge?
No, Kota enak to California.
No, she has not gone to California.
Okay. Where did she meet Marcos?
حاولتي más me watch Marcos.
Pues yo creo que yo la conocí por la escuela, porque como él en escuela, pero todo el día.
Well, I think she met him at school because I had her in school all day.
But she hasn't been to school for a year or more, correct?
Más o menos benachik.
Yeah, she has not been for more than a year.
Okay. Is Michaela able to go outside of the house without you or her or your wife?
Si cuando que estudio o
When she goes to study, or
como la Micaela que estudio yo qué?
you're asking when Michaela goes to study, if she goes alone?
I'm asking if Michaela goes outside the house with other friends when he and his wife are not around.
Kota.
No.
So do you, excuse me, Judge, do you see Michaela every single day?
I saw her every day and she's inside.
Okay. So is there anyone else of your age, or strike that? Are there any other young men that come to your home to visit?
Kota.
No.
So you're the only adult male in the home with Michaela?
No.
No, my wife was with me.
Okay, I understand. Pass the witness, Judge.
Briefly, Your Honor. Do you know how old Marco is?
I don't know.
How do you know Marco is from California?
Sugod mo daw tama siya Marco pa California pewi.
Engin chapta pi California yung kasi pi California.
I don't know if he is from California. I haven't paid attention to whether or not he's from California.
Why does Marco being from California always keep coming up?
I don't know who's saying that. I don't know if Marco is from California.
I'll pass the witness.
Right, Mr. Perez, where was Michaela born?
Guatemala.
She was born in Guatemala.
Do you have a valid driver's license?
Lahat ko nakalisensya chukuya luarchawe kapisa chich.
No, kote license.
No, I don't have a license.
Does anyone in your household have a valid driver's license?
Unak chma paucho chilre o kilisensya chilre kapisa chich.
Kota.
No.
No.
Do you own a vehicle?
Lahat ko chich o nakakarro.
Como?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't understand it.
Do you own a vehicle, a car?
Lahat ko nakakarro.
Shan right skuni.
No, I only ask for rides.
Okay. All right, thank you, sir. All right, let's see, Miss Naranjo, do you have any other witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor, we would call Maria Perez Chahu. Are you the mother of Angel, Selena, Haley, and Atiana Perez? Is your primary language Quechua? When Isaac was sick, did they finally have a translator for you?
Yes, when Isaac was sick, yes.
And was that the first time they had a Quiche translator for you?
Yes, that was the first time.
Are you a stay-at-home mom?
Yes, I stay at home with Michaela.
Does it take a lot of time to care for them?
Sí, pero sobra tiempo cracho que achi. Yes, I give them my time.
Are you also pregnant?
Yes, I'm pregnant.
How many months?
Just started 8.
Does Michaela take care of Isaac?
Michaela kuchiri Isaac? Yes, she cares for him and I care for him.
Is it hard for you to help Michaela with Isaac because you have your own kids?
Well, the kids are mostly in the living room, so we watch the children together, myself and Michaela.
Do you want the kids to come home with you?
لقد كواش تسلش بكري والشوا. Yes, I do. I miss them.
Ma'am, do you know who the father to Michaela's child, Isaac, is?
I don't know the father. I just realized when she was pregnant, but I did not know the father.
And did you go with Michaela to the doctor when she was pregnant?
Her father took her to the hospital to see the doctor.
Are you going to a doctor regularly now that you are pregnant?
Yes, my husband takes me. I do have a doctor.
How do y'all go?
Sumok Shopnik. Well, they check, they examine me and they check the baby, and they told me that everything's fine.
Does Mr. Perez drive you?
Arete Perez, arere kuban manejo tu kambek?
No, right, let's go.
I know. No, he looks for a ride for me. We have to look for our rides.
It's your responsibility to make the children go to school?
Yeah.
Yes.
But you did not make Michaela go to school?
She didn't want to go. Since she got pregnant, she said she didn't want to go.
How old is she?
17, tal vez.
17, maybe.
Do you understand the injuries to Isaac?
I'm not.
Do you know that he has broken legs, broken ribs, and his brain is bleeding?
I did not know.
Nobody has told you that.
What should be like, shall we? Well, they told me at the hospital that this was what was wrong with him, but I didn't know. I don't know. We have not dropped him or anything. I don't know.
I'll pass witness.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Bettis, does Isaac roll over on his own yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. And do y'all ever let any of the other children hold Isaac?
No,
No, they don't hold him.
Okay. Since Isaac was born, was there ever a time that he cried for an extended period of time?
No, he did not.
Has he ever had problems feeding or anything like that?
No.
And where does Isaac sleep?
In his crib.
Okay. Does Michaela sleep in the same room as Isaac?
Yes, Michaela has a room as well.
Okay. But do Michaela and Isaac sleep in the same room?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you also been living in Dalhart for 6 years?
Yes, 6 years.
Okay. And when y'all moved to Dalhart, did Michaela begin school there in Dalhart?
Yes, she started.
Okay. Do you know what grade she started in when she started school? Do you know what grade it was?
I don't know.
Okay. And before y'all lived in Dalhart, did y'all live in Guatemala or did y'all live somewhere else in the United States?
I came from Guatemala to Dalhart.
And do you know where Mr. Perez lived before he moved to Dalhart?
Fiona?
Fiona?
Yeah.
Fiona.
Ms. Bettis, have you ever seen Michaela mistreat Isaac?
No, I have not.
I'll pass the witness.
So black and picture.
The night Isaac was taken to the hospital, who brought your husband home from work?
The ride that took him did a favor and take Michaela.
And where did the ride take Michaela?
شكل lugar شو عم بكون ride شكل lugar كون ride لا شكل lugar شو عم بكون Michaela.
Hospital.
Did you coconut here? Hashabi?
Hospital
She was taken to the hospital.
So Michaela went to the hospital the same night Isaac did?
Yes, she went.
And how did your husband and Michaela get from your house to the hospital?
Well, because the baby was ill, he was taken.
In whose car was he taken?
Ride. A ride.
Okay. From who?
Right. A brother in the church.
Okay. What's his name?
Asubi. Asubi? I didn't understand. Can you say it again?
What is the person's name who gave your husband and Michaela a ride?
I don't know.
Is it the same person that gives your husband a ride to work?
I don't know if that was the same ride that takes him to work.
Okay. Is your husband ever alone with Michaela when you're busy?
No, there's not.
Okay. But she has her own room by herself, correct?
Pero alila ko kung kwarto siya retre utkiel, ¿verdad? Yes, Michaela has a separate room.
Do you attend church weekly?
Lahat ka ba iglesia ron hal semana? Yes, Michaela and I go together.
What church do you attend?
I don't know because I can't read.
Where is it located?
¿Qué lugar ko It's in Dalahar.
Who is the leader of your church?
Has to be un líder de esa iglesia. I don't know.
Next time the caseworker visits you, can you show them where your church is?
Yes, I don't know.
Did you understand when you raised your hand earlier that you promised to be truthful?
I'm not understanding what you're saying.
Do you understand that you're required to tell the truth here today because you raised your hand and promised to?
Can you explain that? Because I don't understand it.
Ma'am, excuse me. This is Judge Graham. Have you been telling the truth when you've been answering questions today?
The truth.
What was her answer? I didn't hear.
The truth.
Okay. All right. Let's move on, Ms. Grant.
Do you understand that you could get in trouble if you don't tell the truth?
Your Honor, I'm going to object to this line of questioning. She's already said that she's telling the truth. I don't see the relevancy of this.
Yeah, let's move on. Sustain.
I just, Your Honor, want to put on the record, I gathered from her that she didn't understand that she swore to tell the truth and that it's a sworn testimony. That's all I was trying to clarify. I'll pass the witness.
All right. Thank you.
Ms. Perez, who is your doctor?
Nan Perez, sinak kita doktorat. I don't know the name of my doctor.
Okay, do you know the name of the hospital or clinic you go to?
Ataw amo biri kun hospital o klinika bakit ba we? I don't know because I can't read.
Okay, what town is it in?
Sabihin tinamit ko which ma'am?
Dalahar.
Dalahar.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
You stated earlier that Isaac slept in a crib, correct?
Yes, he slept in his crib.
Does the crib have sides on it?
The crib has corners.
So Isaac cannot get out of his crib on his own?
I didn't understand what you said.
Isaac cannot get out of his crib on his own. Someone has to remove him from his crib, correct?
Yeah, I object to compound question.
Overruled. I think we're about to get an answer.
Kabila? He's not able to get out of his crib alone.
Do you know who the father of Isaac is?
I don't know who his father is.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Has anyone other than you, your husband, or Michaela ever cared for Isaac?
I didn't hear you or understand you. Can you repeat?
Has anyone other than yourself, your husband, or Michaela ever cared for Isaac?
No.
Have you ever seen anyone mistreat Isaac?
No.
When you and Michaela go to church, do you take Isaac with you?
Yes, we would all go.
Okay, thank you.
Could I make a motion possibly?
Sure.
On behalf of Mr. Barfield as an unknown father, I would like to make a motion that enough questions have been asked and answered in this hearing to establish probability that the father could be present today. The grandfather should be paternity tested. I believe we've raised enough questions to bring a reasonable probability, and I would like to motion that the court order a paternity test for the grandfather in the case of Isaac.
All right, I'm way ahead of you.
I would support that motion, Your Honor.
I'm way ahead of all of you. Okay. All right. Let's do it this way. In the case involving all of the children except Isaac, let me see here. I'm going to be sure I get this right. That would be Miss Lucero. I want your recommendation.
Thank you. Your Honor, in regards to the children, in that case, Micaela, Angel, Selena, Haley, and Atiana, I believe it's in the children's best interest that the department be named temporary managing conservator. And I don't know how permanent the placement is that they have at this time, but if they're able to be brought closer together, I think that would be in their best interest. And if they could have contact with one another, Your Honor.
All right. In the case involving all of the children except Isaac, Miss Ledbetter, does Casa have anything to add?
Nothing to add. We're in agreement with that.
All right. The case involving Isaac, Miss Kincaid, any recommendations?
I think that one's mine, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, Mr. Turner. I'm sorry. I'm getting them confused.
As to Isaac, Your Honor, I believe it's in his best interest that the department be named as the temporary managing conservator and that his placement be continued. And again, would second Ms. Grant's motion that paternity testing be done.
All right. And in the case involving Isaac, Ms. Ledbetter, Casa have anything to add in that case?
Nothing to add. We are also in agreement with that.
All right. Thank you. I will first let's just take the case involving all of the children except Isaac first. And Mr. Ronho, you jump in here if I'm wrong. You asked that I adjudicate him today, correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
All right. All right. First of all, I find, based upon the evidence I've heard as well as the request made, I do find that Transito Perez Hernandez is in fact the biological father. I will continue the department as temporary manager and conservator, continue those children's current placement. I will order that if Angel has not seen a dentist to date, that he see a dentist immediately. I will order that anytime the department or St. Francis talks to the parents, that there be a Quiche translator present or involved. I'll order visitation to begin between the parents and these children. All right. In the case involving Isaac, I will continue the department as temporary managing conservator. I will continue Isaac's current placement. I will order paternity testing for Transito Perez Hernandez as concerns the father of Isaac. And again, I will order anytime St. Francis or the department talks to the parents that a Quiche translator be involved. And I will order the begin visitation between the parents and Isaac. All right. In both cases, our next hearing, the status hearing, will be on June 9th, 2023. Okay. And I think it's part of my ruling, but there has to be a translator present when St. Francis or the department discusses the status, the service plans with these parents. All right. The next hearing, the one on June 9th, that will be by Zoom, just like today. Anything further from anyone? Have I missed anything?
Judge, if we could get a quick clarification on visitation. For visitation for Isaac, you said with the parents, would that also include with Ms. Bettis and Mr. Bettis?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
The-
And
the-
as well as, can we see if the St. Francis could facilitate transportation for them as well?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
If St. Francis could also facilitate transportation to the visits.
Sure, either that or virtually, however they work it out. If y'all can't work it out, you can ask the court for a hearing. I don't like to do that. I don't try to micromanage the cases, but if it can't be worked out, then anybody can ask the court to consider what the visitation should be. All right, now, Ms. Kincaid.
Oh, thank you, Judge. Sorry. To clarify that clarification, Michaela is the mother of Isaac, so she also is getting visitation as well.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
What we'll call right now, the grandparents and Michaela will have visitation with Isaac.
Thank you.
Okay.
Claro, siya bilak na, children.